Welcome to Gaff's Radar, where it is told as it is. Press like and subscribe as you enjoy this video. Thanks! In the heart of Brazil, a football prodigy was born, destined to make his mark in Spain, Vinicius Junior. Raised in the lively streets of Rio, his journey began in the humble beginnings of Flamengo's youth academy. He was just a boy with a dream, but he was no ordinary boy. His nimble footwork, his electric sprints, his ability to weave magic with the ball, it was clear he was a star in the making. Before long, his exceptional talent began to shine brighter, echoing far beyond the borders of Brazil. It wasn't long until one of the world's most prestigious football clubs, Real Madrid, took notice. They saw in him the potential to become one of the greats, a beacon of hope in the beautiful game. His journey was just beginning as Vinicius Junior was set to make his grand entrance into Spanish football. Real Madrid, the mecca of football, welcomed the Brazilian prodigy with open arms, but the journey was not going to be easy. Picture this, a young man barely out of his teens leaving behind the familiar warmth of his homeland, Brazil, to enter the turbulent, high-pressure world of European football. This was the reality for Vinicius Junior, who in 2018 became one of the most expensive teenagers in football history when he signed for Real Madrid. The Spanish capital, Madrid, with its stunning architecture, vivacious culture and passionate football fanatics, was a world away from the samba-filled streets of Rio de Janeiro where Vinicius had grown up. The language was different, the food was different, the style of play was different. Everything was a challenge for Vinicius, but he was determined to adapt and succeed. However, the pressure on him was immense. Being one of the most expensive teenagers in football history came with great expectations. Every move he made, every pass, every shot was scrutinized, analyzed, and critiqued by millions of fans and critics alike. The weight of the iconic white jersey of Real Madrid was heavy, but Vinicius bore it with a maturity that belied his tender age. He knew he had a mountain to climb, but he was ready. The first few years at Real Madrid were challenging for Vinicius. He had to learn a new language, understand a new culture, and adapt to a new style of play. The Spanish game was tactically more complex, technically more demanding, and physically more rigorous than what he was used to in Brazil. Yet through all the struggles, Vinicius remained resilient. He worked tirelessly, honing his skills, improving his game, learning the language, and adapting to the culture. He was determined to prove his worth, not just as a footballer, but as a person who could rise above the challenges, face the adversities, and still come out on top. Despite the challenges, Vinicius Junior remained resilient, determined to prove his worth on the pitch. As Vinicius Junior was making his mark in Spanish football, a dark cloud of racism loomed over him. Even as this Brazilian prodigy was weaving his magic on the field, he had to confront the bitter reality of racism off the pitch. There were instances where Vinicius was subjected to racial slurs and derogatory chants from the crowd, a stark reminder of the discrimination that still persists in the world of football. One such episode that stands out was during a match against a top-tier Spanish team. Vinicius, performing excellently as always, found himself the target of monkey chants every time he touched the ball. This blatant display of racism shook him, but it did not break him. Instead, he used this adversity as fuel, letting his performance on the field speak volumes against the prejudice he faced. However, the impact of these incidents was not limited to just Vinicius. They served as a stark reminder of the wider issue of racism that continues to plague Spanish football. Numerous talented players from diverse backgrounds have had their spirits dampened and careers affected by these discriminatory actions. The ramifications of such behavior are far-reaching. It not only demotivates the players, but also tarnishes the image of the sport itself. It's disheartening to see that in the 21st century, the color of a player's skin can still overshadow their talent and achievements. But every cloud has a silver lining. And in this case, it was the tremendous support Vinicius received from anti-racism advocates. They rallied against the discrimination, amplifying the call for equality and respect in the sport. This bolstered Vinicius's resolve and sent a strong message that racism has no place in football, or anywhere else for that matter. Vinicius was not alone in this fight, as anti-racism advocates joined hands to support him and fight against this deep-rooted issue. The struggle against racism in football is ongoing, But with the collective efforts of players, fans and advocates, we can hope for a future where talent is the only factor that determines a player's worth. Vinicius Junior, a young man in a foreign land faced with adversity, stands tall, unyielding in his fight against racism. This is not a tale of a footballer merely playing his game. This is a story of a warrior battling not only against rivals on the pitch but also against a societal plague off it. In the face of distressing racial slurs and unjust treatment, Vinicius Junior's spirit remains unbroken. His passion for football, his love for the game, acts as his shield, protecting him from the ugliness that seeks to tarnish his journey. His talent is undeniable, his performance on the field, awe-inspiring. His contribution to Real Madrid is significant, his footprints on the pitch, indelible. But his fight extends beyond the football arena. Off the pitch, Vinicius Junior is just as formidable, using his influence to challenge the status quo, to push for change. He stands tall, a beacon against the shadows of racism, calling for equality, for respect, for justice. His voice resonates with power, echoing the cries of many who face similar struggles. Despite the challenges, Vinicius Junior continues to shine. His performance on the field a testament to his strength, his resilience. Each goal he scores, each victory he secures, is not just for him or his team, but for every individual who has been unjustly judged or unfairly treated. His success is a reminder that talent knows no color, no race. Vinicius Junior's journey in Spanish football is more than just a career path. It is a fight against a deep-rooted bias, a struggle against an unjust system. He is a symbol of hope, of determination, of resilience. His story is not just about football, it's about humanity, about standing up against prejudice, against hatred. Vinicius Junior's journey in Spanish football is a testament to his strength and resilience. His story is a beacon of hope, inspiring us to stand against racism in all its forms. The story of Vinicius Junior is not an isolated one, but a symptom of a larger systemic issue in Spain. It is a stark reminder that the shadow of racism still looms large over the beautiful game of football, tainting its essence and leaving its victims with scars that run deeper than the surface. Racism in Spanish football has become targeted, systemic, indulged, promoted, ingrained and pervasive. As we close this chapter of Vinicius Junior's journey, we are reminded that the fight against racism is far from over. From his humble beginnings to the trials faced in Spanish football, his story underscores the urgent need for anti-racism, not only within the sport, but across society. His resilience, his strength, his unyielding spirit against the foulest of prejudices serve as a beacon for us all. In the face of adversity, Vinicius Junior stands tall, echoing a message for us all. The fight against racism must go on. Thank you.